No one ever paid much attention to the janitor at Fort Haven Air Base. He was the quiet man pushing his mop through echoing hallways long after everyone else had gone home. But that changed one afternoon, when a high-ranking female general overheard him fluently translating 9 different languages in the mess hall. And what she did next stunned the entire base. General Alicia Munro was known for her sharp mind and sharper instincts. She ran her command like a well-oiled machine, efficient, disciplined, and unyielding. So when she walked into the officers' dining hall that day, she wasn't expecting to hear chaos. A visiting NATO officer was struggling to communicate with the base cook, who spoke only Spanish. The interpreter was late, and frustration filled the air. That's when the janitor, Daniel Reed, quietly stepped forward. "Permettez-moi ayudar," he said softly, his voice calm and assured. The room fell silent as Daniel began translating, effortlessly switching between English and Spanish, bridging the gap with ease. But then, when another foreign officer entered speaking German, Daniel turned toward him and replied fluently, his pronunciation flawless. Then came French. Then Arabic. Then Russian. Then Mandarin. Then Pashto. Then Japanese. Then Italian. Each time, Daniel switched languages as if flipping a switch in his mind. By the 9th one, everyone had stopped eating. General Munro's coffee cup froze midair. Later that evening, she summoned him to her office. Daniel entered nervously, his janitor's uniform still damp from mopping. "Sit down, Mr. Reed," she said, studying him. "How many languages do you actually speak?" "9," he replied quietly. "But I don't really talk about it." She leaned forward. "Why not?" He hesitated, then took a deep breath. "Because, ma'am, I used to teach linguistics at the Defense Language Institute. My wife was in the Army, an interpreter. We traveled the world together. But when she was killed during a peacekeeping mission overseas, I quit. My daughter was 5. I couldn't leave her behind, so I took this job. It keeps me close to her school, and the base benefits cover her therapy." Alicia felt her throat tighten. She'd seen soldiers break, but she hadn't seen someone rebuild himself from so little, with such quiet strength. The next morning, Daniel came in as usual, mopping the same halls, smiling politely at the same people who now looked at him differently. He thought that moment in the dining hall would fade away. But a few days later, he was called to the auditorium. To his shock, the entire base was there, soldiers, officers, staff, all seated and waiting. General Munro stood on stage, microphone in hand. She gestured for him to come forward. "Mr. Reed," she began, "this base runs on discipline, teamwork, and excellence. But sometimes, true excellence hides in the humblest places." Then she announced, "Effective immediately, Daniel Reed will serve as Cultural Liaison Officer for Fort Haven Air Base." The room erupted in applause. Daniel stood frozen, disbelief written across his face. He wasn't a janitor anymore. He was an officer once again. When he returned home that evening, his daughter, Lily, was waiting by the door. "Daddy, you're on the base website," she squealed, showing him the headline on her tablet. "Janitor turned hero linguist. Fort Haven honors hidden gem." Daniel knelt beside her, tears in his eyes. He whispered, "Mom would have loved this, huh?" Lily smiled. "She would have been proud, Daddy." That night, Daniel looked out his small apartment window at the base lights glowing in the distance. For the first time in years, he didn't feel invisible. It started with a janitor quietly cleaning the hallways. It ended with a hero teaching soldiers the power of understanding, through words, empathy, and courage. General Munro's decision didn't just change one man's life. It reminded everyone at Fort Haven, and everyone who heard the story, that talent, heart, and humanity can shine through any uniform.